All right, so most of us in here are around the age where you start going on dates, start dating, or talking to someone you might have a crush on, right? Yeah, we've all been there some sort of way. Can anyone raise their hand and tell me any red flags that might make you not want to continue talking to someone or not want to hang out with them? Josh.
When they tell you they got a spot they can go to.
They got a spot they can go to. Yeah, that's not good. Anyone else? Any other red flags? Alright, so I'm going to show you some red flags if you guys don't know any other through the story of the worst date I've ever been on. I really should have never gone on this date if I'm being honest, and I don't even know if I can qualify it as a date because of how horrible it actually was. But if you see in this top corner up here, there's actually a croissant as the profile picture. And that's because after a while of this guy asking me to hang out and not hanging out with me, I put a croissant emoji next to his name because he just flaked on me so much. So Flake is the guy I went on a date with. Months led up to this. I had known him for a while, and he eventually asked me one day. We finally actually hung out, and I was like, all right, sure. I really don't know what was different about this time, but he actually picked me up from my house. You know, I think I don't know why that's not clicking. Where's the keyboard at? It's over here.
Yeah, right there.
Awesome. Yeah, so I got hit with this text a couple times, and then he ended up picking me up. No, I'm here. That's Flake. And we ended up going to a park, just walking around, whatever. He tells me, I know a place. Let me put you on. Because we were sitting around, it was August, it was kind of hot, and he was like, I'm kind of thirsty, let's go somewhere to get a drink or something to drink. I know a place, let me put you on. So I'm like, all right, I wonder where he's going to take me, you know, there's not that many places in Hobart that I don't know of. So we're driving, we leave the park, all of a sudden we pull into the Taco Bell drive-through, and he orders something, and he's like, can you pay? And I'm like, and he says, well, usually when I'm with my friends, they pay for food if I'm the one driving, and I pay if they're the one driving, so could you pay for it? Gas wasn't even $2 a gallon yet. But I'm like, sure, I guess. Hand in my card. All right. So we get the drinks. It's literally just a Taco Bell Freezy swirl. It wasn't anything significant. Awesome. So we end up going home. He's taking me home. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't that bad. Wouldn't do it again, but it gets worse. So he sees my mom, and he's like, let me go introduce myself to her. And I'm like, all right. So they hit it off, you know. As people do who have a lot to talk about, they start talking about the weather. He's like, it's hot out. She's like, I know. You know what? My dad actually has a swimming pool. You guys should go there and go swimming. And he's like, you know what? That's a great idea. So we go to my grandpa's house and we go swimming. Awesome. I usually don't introduce my family or my grandparents to boys because they don't really deserve to get to know my family like that. But he got to meet my grandpa, so that's awesome. So we're just sitting there, we're swimming, chilling, and there's a fence that separates our backyard and the neighbor's backyard. And all of a sudden, he looks over and he knows this dude across the fence, and they just start talking. And I'm just like, all right, it's just going on for a really long time. Apparently they go way back. They were neighbors like a decade ago, and they're just catching up on that past decade, and it's starting to get dark, and I'm like, all right, I'm cold. So I change out of my swimsuit into some regular clothes, and they're still talking, and eventually we leave, we decide we're hungry, and we're gonna go get Chipotle. So, we go to Chipotle. He does the old, I forgot my wallet. And I'm like, alright. He's like, yeah, can you pay? And I'm like, sure. So, he's like, alright, thank you, you're the best. So, he orders a burrito bowl, right? You guys have been to Chipotle? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, just start it again. You're good. You hit something.
So he orders a burrito bowl, right? And certain meats cost extra and whatnot at Chipotle and add-ons. He gets steak, the most expensive meat there, and then he orders queso, and then he orders guac. That's not even a good combo. That's a red flag right there. Like, that's not even a good combo. And then he makes me pay for it. That's like a whole, like, $20 meal for no reason. All right, so he just got me to pay for him, and we're heading back to my house to go eat the food. And he's like, hold up, I gotta go stop for gas. His money appears in the center console, was there the whole time. He bought gas, and I'm just like, that's awesome. So he's gassed up, we go back to my house and eat the food. So we're like watching a movie, he starts flirting with my sister. Awesome. And I'm just like, that made me uncomfortable. Okay, cool. So we're watching the movie, right? He's on his phone. I can clearly see his phone screen. He's just scrolling through Instagram. He likes this girl's picture in a swimsuit. He starts scrolling through it, and then he clicks on her account, and then he slides into her DMs while I'm there, like, watching his phone screen, and he can see that I see. Like, he just gives no Fs. He's just going at, okay. So that's weird. It gets worse. So he gets a call from this girl he works with, and she's just like flirting with him, you know, like whatever. And she invites him to a party, and they're just like talking about people I don't know, and I'm just like totally disconnected. At this point, I'm just texting my friend, and I'm just like, this is horrible. Like, I want him to leave my house now. And all of a sudden, I get a call from my friend. She wants to like kind of diffuse the situation. So he starts flirting with my friend, and I'm just like, all right, please go home. So he ends up going home, and I decided like never doing that again. Glad that was the only time we ever hung out, you know, never have to deal with that again. But the worst part about it all was that I left my favorite swimsuit top in his car. So that happened. But
how'd you make a positive out of it all?
if I can teach you anything from this horrible date experience, if you have nothing else to compare it to, because I had nothing to compare it to, I didn't know what to expect. Don't make excuses for people who don't meet your expectations. He literally met no expectations. He checked no boxes on any lists. You want someone that treats you with respect and doesn't just flirt with other people in front of you. Like, that's rude. Don't do that. They make you pay for food, you don't even know them, pay for your own meal. Like, hang out with people that make you feel good about yourself. I didn't feel good about myself when he was flirting with my sister and my friends and being on the phone when he should have been talking to me. That's just rude. If you can take away anything from this, I'd say set boundaries. Before you go on a bad date, make sure they know what you want. If you are just looking for a friendship or just to hang out, or if something like that makes you uncomfortable, someone flirting with other people in front of you makes you uncomfortable, set those kind of boundaries. Look and listen for red flags. Don't just ignore them. Don't just make excuses for them, because they're clearly there. And if you ask someone to hang out, pay for the meal, or just pay for your own meal. Thank you.
Thank you.